During the first winter of the center's construction, the workers set up a Christmas tree just outside the entrance. It was an uncanny sight to see a green fir stand in the middle of what appeared to be a no-man's land. But this tree, humbly ordained with strings of cranberries, buttons, and tin cans, greatly affected me. It demonstrated that even in the darkest of times, the American people will light the beacons of hope. I thought it could be the start of a great and inspiring tradition, so I traveled north to Babylon in search of a Christmas tree for the following year.
Mr. Rockefeller looks for the best tree in the forest. How about this one, Mr. Rockefeller? No, it's much too short. How about this one, Mr. Rockefeller? No, it's much too tall. How about this one, Mr. Rockefeller? No, it's much too average. Mr. Rockefeller soon feared that he would leave empty-handed. Then, on the 12th night, just as he was packing up his stuff, Mr. Rockefeller heard the sweetest tune in the air. It sounded as though the very wind itself had fallen in love. He and his men followed the song and found themselves at the base of a very special tree. Mr. Rockefeller, it's perfect. For the rest of the night, the men swung their axes at the special tree. Chop, chop, chop. However, when the sun rose, the tree was still standing. Their axes had left no marks at all. Mr. Rockefeller was surprised. Next day, Mr. Rockefeller and his men laid 100 sticks of dynamite around the tree. 3, 2, 1, bang! Yet, the special tree continued to stand. Mr. Rockefeller was surprised. So Mr. Rockefeller decided to hire the best team of grave diggers to take the tree out of the ground. After a week of digging, they told Mr. Rockefeller the tree will be out in 3 years at this rate. Mr. Rockefeller was surprised, but he decided to let the grave diggers work. He would pick the next 3 best trees for the next 3 Christmases. But by the 4th year, the special tree was ready to display.
seldom mention the tragedy that occurred at the center. Many have taken offense at my silence, claiming it to be the result of a desensitization to workplace accidents. Indeed, I have seen enough accidents in 3 lifetimes, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened at the center. For some time now, my friends have blamed the center's original construction workers for the tragedy. Since it was their very own Christmas tree that had started the whole tradition. But the truth is that their tree brought joy and wonder to the public. It was my tree, and my tree alone, that brought about the unprecedented law.
Rockefeller's name slowly raised the special tree. Heave-ho! 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 By the afternoon, the special tree stood tall and still. It was unlike any other tree, having no color, branches, or leaves. The mayor of New York, Mr. Gardia, thought that the tree was too bare and asked for branches to be added so that ornaments could be hung. Mr. Rockefeller didn't agree. He thought the tree was perfect, just the way it was. But since Mayor Gardia had been one of his best friends, Mr. Rockefeller told his men to glue some branches on. I, Virginia, watched as the men placed branches on the special tree. I had saved my money for over 9 months because of the little star ornament, because I wanted to be the very first person to decorate the Rockefeller Christmas tree. It laid in my pocket while I left, because I planned to hang my ornament as soon as the tree was standing. After the final branch had been added and all the men left, I quickly ran up to the tree. But to my astonishment, the lowest branch of the tree was over twice my height. I jumped as high as I could, but still, the lowest branch was out of my reach. I was very disappointed. I wanted to be the very first person to decorate the tree, but now had no chance. Unless I called my friends. At once, I began counting my friends on my fingers. There were Helen, Charles, Elizabeth, Alice, Joseph, Elsie, Orville, Edith, Alice, and Philip. 10 friends that I could ask for help. Then I realized that 10 friends, standing on each other's shoulders, could put me at the very top of the Christmas tree. My star could be the first and the tallest. Without a second to spare, I ran from door to door, asking for help. Knock, knock, knock. Helen, are you there? Knock, knock, knock. Charles, are you there? Knock, knock, knock. Elizabeth, are you there? Eventually, I gathered all 10 of my friends at the bottom of the Rockefeller Christmas tree. I told them my plan, to have them all stand on each other and form a ladder for me to climb to the top. My friends understood my excitement, and they quickly started to climb onto each other's shoulders. Ow! Charles had stepped on Charles' fingers. Ow! Charles had stepped on Elizabeth's fingers. Ow! Elizabeth had stepped on Alice's fingers. After many groans and tumbled, my friends formed a sturdy ladder, and I began to climb. My joy grew with every passing pace. Before I knew it, I was at the very top, looking down at the tree. My ladder of friends moved back and forth, and occasionally felt like it was about to collapse. But I turned out the movement and focused on the tree. Closer, friends, closer! Then I secured the metal star at the top of the tree. It was perfect! Hooray! Victory! I'm the first! Just then, there was a strange sound. The tree began to shake. Its blue branches fell off all at once, and the entire tree slowly bent backwards. Soon, the very top of it touched the ground, forming a perfect arc. It was like a very strange rainbow. My heart sank as I saw my star gently slide to the ground from the tree's top. Bolts of lightning then shot out from inside the arc of the tree, producing thunderous boom. The lightning scared my friends and me. We all tumbled to the ground and ran in all directions, but the lightning caught up to us. I was blinded by a great white light. I remember when my eyes adjusted, I was in a field of special trees. I had scratched my legs badly, and I could see that my friends were also hurt. I looked up at the Rockefeller building, and I thought that they looked a little different. The whole street looked a little different, and the special tree was nowhere in sight.
It is only natural for the reader at this point to wonder why the incident has been referred to as a tragedy. It was a mostly inconsequential event, likely an electrical accident whose effects were exaggerated by the children at the scene. I was grateful that every life involved had been spared. A death at the center would have weighed heavily on my mind for some time. But when I encountered the results of the children's medical examinations,
My mom had visited me at the hospital, but they looked completely different. Ma looked worried. After she wiped her tears, she asked, "Did you hang your bear at the Rockefeller tree?" I answered, "It wasn't a bear. I was going to hang a star." To which they asked, "What do you mean?" Pa asked, "Where did you get these clothes?" I answered, "These are my clothes, the ones you helped me put on this morning." To which they asked, "What do you mean?" Had them since I was little. To which they asked, "What do you mean?" My parents quietly left my bed and talked to my friends here. Then they all started to cry, yell. The nurses made them leave, which made me feel better. None of us thought that our real parents had visited, but they all did feel familiar. Orville and Philip were especially shaken. They didn't even share the same last name with their parents. The nurses tried to convince us that those who had visited us were our parents. Mr. Rockefeller himself was kind enough to visit us in the hospital.
for several weeks, the children were kept under observation at the Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. I visited them as soon as I had the chance to. All the families of these children were deeply unsettled, for they had all independently come to the conclusion that their child had been replaced by a doppelganger. They claimed that these new sons and daughters possessed substantial differences from their real children. The majority of differences involved altered physical attributes and the inability to recognize familiar locations and characters, such as their parents and their homes. Two boys even claimed to have names different to those that their mothers had given them at birth. But of all the discrepancies, the most bizarre was their faulty recollections of notable persons and events. For instance, each of the affected children claimed that I had become the wealthiest man in America through an oil monopoly. It is common knowledge at an oil refinery in my youth, but to entirely deny my 2 terms as president and insist instead that I had always been a mere philanthropist struck me as being particularly odd. The families were agonized by the children's behavior. Some continued to search for their real children. Every day, I'd find myself recollecting the day that I had selected the tree. I have since realized the difficulties involved in the removal of it should have repeatedly discouraged me. And had I been discouraged, the families of those children would not be experiencing the anguish that they currently have. Perhaps I never had the opportunity to select another tree. Perhaps I was meant to select that tree regardless of my persistent character. Perhaps we are all trolleys, forced to follow the path of the track to each of our destinations.
promise I will not. There was a great flash, and we were in another field, and it suddenly benefited to stand out. Another flash, and we were both running past the woods. And we were both lying on the ground, looking at infinity. Every few seconds there was a flash, and we would continue. Again, and again, and again. Over and over and over. It will not stop. It felt like forever. Years of flashes. I so angry at first. They were so fast and tired. Every now and then we would flash to another layer of dust. Above or below. But we would always see the climbers. I think there were people who tried to climb the trees while they were flashed around. They were stretched and burnt. They were the best, the people that fell. The man was always with me in touching place every time. Most of the years, but like years. I named him Edward. He was always there. He never left me. I had nothing back then. Then on one random day, one random time, all the trees bent, and the flash brought me back to New York. All my friends were around me, but this was another New York. I did something wrong, and I lost it. I ruined everything. Everything. For me and my family, I ruined their lives. I will not tell you about the orphanage. It was a hard time. I will keep memories of the orphanage to myself. They do not matter to you. When I was 18, I left the orphanage. I looked for my new parents. They were not together anymore. My new pa died from a broken heart, and my new ma lived all by herself. She did not let anyone into her house anymore. All because of me. The Rockefeller Center furniture. The tree stood at the top of the closet. But I was never supposed to visit again. But I did. And I spoke to her. At first, I could not understand her. Her voice was like a gleam behind my eyes. But soon I could understand. She said that I had to be ready to exchange one life for my own. She understood that I wanted to go back home. My New York. She said, "Do that when you leave." And I did. 1,095 days. I returned and I did it. At first, I could not understand. The voice was like a breeze behind my eyes. It was cold and nothing. But eventually, I could understand. She said that I left my brother to exchange one life for my own. She understood They plan to fix me sorry, Pa. I'm sorry, Ma. I'm sorry, friends. I'm sorry, Leonard. I'm sorry, Everett. Please remember me. Please remember me.